You, camera, come here. We gotta go somewhere. Yeah. It's another one of those times where Nora has to talk about her feelings. Yeah. Nah, trust me. I'll keep working on videos just as usual, but this is stuff I need to get off my chest. Nothing that bad. Just background stuff with me. Come here. I love this world. Silly noodle legs go. Erp, 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 erp. Come on, we're going to my favorite place. Yeah, it's a little weird, but it helps me concentrate. Well, here we are again. The back rooms. Now then, it's not going to be all that fun, so let me give you the usual content warnings before this all happens. This is my backstory. It covers parents breaking up, depression, terrible past friends, and stuff like that. So, let's start with the basics. Hello, I'm Nora, aka Forgetful Hatter. I'm Irish and I'm from Ireland, still currently living here. I'm quite a few different things, mainly a video and content creator. It's also helped me reach and meet so many wonderful people all across the internet and world that I can call friends, some more so than others. So, let me tell you stuff about my backstory. Before I even actually go any further with that, I am going to keep making videos. I'm not going to go delete my channel by myself, by my own hand. I want to keep making this stuff because it is a huge source of joy and pride for me. And yeah, we'll keep it going here with this. I'm sure there'll be parts I'll kick myself in editing for later. So yeah, this isn't going to be cheerful, so if you're in a bad place, I'd say go listen to some cheerful music, go for a walk, get a drink or something like this. Water, yeah, so past trauma, parents breaking up, depression, abusive friendships. Before we start, I also want to say I don't do names. I feel it's rude to spotlight people by using their exact name because it can lead to bullying, harassment, insults, and much worse. Let's start with the true actual meaning behind my name. It took me a while to figure it out, but yeah, I got it. Forgetful. When I was at the age of 7, my parents split up. My mum found out my dad was cheating on her with another woman. At the time, I wasn't aware of it. I was just told mummy and daddy didn't love each other very much. And I took it badly. Very badly. So badly that I literally cannot actually remember that time of my life. The only thing I remember from that time was when I was laughing at a teacup because its handle was shaped like a number 7, same age as me at that time. Years later, I was told that I was. Bah. Years later, when my mum was willing to open up about it, having raised me and my older brother as a single mum, she mentioned that I was crying and crying a lot, blaming myself over it. Even though my dad got custody to see me and my older brother each week, I was blissfully unaware just how bad these things were for my mum. I didn't realize at the time this other woman my dad was at the time was the one he cheated on mum with. I was too young at the time to realize it, and my parents didn't want to tell me about it. Having spoken to various therapists about this, most concluded that I put up a mental memory block to shield myself from the trauma of those events. The human mind doing that self defense thing. Last I heard, he broke up with that woman he went after and got with another one. I eventually cut all communication from him when I learned about this. So, if you want to have a giggle about it, daddy issues. um, that being said, I do have a stepdad now. Him and my mother love each other very much, and yeah, he's a wonderful person. This next part might be obvious given the general motif of my channel at times, but Hatter, as in Mad Hatter, as in Alice in Wonderland. See, around that time, the same age, I was playing video games. A lot of them. They were my coping mechanism. My own wonderland, a digital imaginary world. Sometimes I can be in charge, sometimes the game is in charge. They were my escape from reality. In these games, I was some sort of badass with no issues like parents splitting up. Yet out of those games, I'm the sad crying girl, devastated over the split up by my parents. As I grew older, games got more advanced, and yeah, I grew more and more. My mind started to expand, and I became aware of something. There's a darkness following me. The darkness. Depression. That inky black shadowing mess that's been following me since that age of 7. I've spoken to therapists about it, where I learned the human mind is a negativity sponge that soaks up bad feelings more so than positive ones. How our minds are still primitive and built for survival, yet we live in a world not suited for those kind of minds. I was offered antidepressants. I took a look at the side effects, said no, because one of them said kidney failure, and I did not want that. Hmm. Spoke to some friends that did go on to antidepressants, and they said you feel like a hollow husk of yourself. So, yeah, I think I might have dodged a bullet by holding on to my emotions, bad as they might have been. I was admitted to a mental health day hospital, which I know sounds bad, but it was actually really positive. I basically had to go there once each day, 9 to 5 sort of thing, just so they could keep an eye on me. There, I met many people, interesting people. A person with schizophrenia, a person who wanted to life early, a person who self-harmed, and a girl very similar to me. Dark hair, gloomy, not so much on the outside, but on the inside. We spoke, and she mentioned wanting to place the videos side by side for a video project. At the time, I did not know how to do anything like that. These days, I can consider myself a pretty intermediary skilled video editor. Eventually, the hospital deemed me fine enough that I didn't need to attend anymore. I never got a chance to see her again. When I asked, when I asked, the receptionist was that kind of person. Let's just say, you know that slug from Monsters Inc., the Mike Wazowski kind? She was that kind of person. She said how they cannot disclose patient details. I hope they're all doing better. They really deserve it, honestly. Yet, even after being dismissed, I still notice something. Time and time again, that inky blackness keeps coming back. It's like waiting for me to get a little sad or get some bad news, and then bam, it's back like a wanted itch. I don't even know what that means. It grabs hold of me, utterly zapping my creative mind and willpower to work on anything. And then suddenly even tidying my own bedroom becomes difficult. However, time and time again, I always pull myself out of that black pit, even if it is difficult at times. But yeah, how do I do it? Friendships, family, happy things, prideful things, making those videos, for example. So, yeah, many things. The thing I always say is just keep something that makes you happy and forge it into, let's just say, a sword, a metaphorical sword that you use to cast back the darkness. That's what I gotta do whenever I feel down. So yeah, in that sense, I'm Forgetful Hatter, perpetually sad girl that has waves that wash it in and waves that wash it out. Sometimes we're good, sometimes we're bad. So, the next kind of part, the bad friend and the good friend. See, when I left that hospital, I was starting to go online an awful lot more. Started playing more team-based games like TF2, Left 4 Dead, and Killing Floor. Those are the games I remembered and enjoyed most. There, I made lots of friends, including a drop of gold. A cute, uwu type of furry friend. Very affectionate, very cheerful. They were Brazilian, so not a native English speaker. Their English was good, a little bit broken here and there. We were friends for weeks before they mentioned this on Discord. They were also the person that got me onto Discord. See, I made an account under a Discord name I no longer use, and we hung out. They're the best. My favorite thing about them was how they'd ask questions about the English language to help fill in their gap knowledge with it. And I only never really realized it, but over time their English actually was starting to get better and better the more we hung out in voice chats and voice calls and text chats and things like that. I still keep up with them from time to time, because we're both a kind of great influence on each other. And then the new friend showed up one day. They came in screaming in all cap locks, sad, sorrowful, and angry about another group of friends betraying her and kicking her out of their group. Had I known how badly this woman was going to treat me, abuse me, and manipulate me, I would have left so quickly. Alas, I was a kind fool with a heart of gold, as many people kind of know me like that, willing to hug the sad girl because at the time I did not notice the red flags. And so, for the next few years, she would torment me, mock me, guilt trip me, get me to do things I didn't want to, play games with her that I didn't want to. And I know this will sound hateful, and I don't enjoy being like this, but she's the reason I cannot roleplay. Anytime someone offers to roleplay, awful thoughts come flooding back in about how she treated me. Each and every single time, no matter how hard I try. And everyone's always really cool and patient with it, but at the same time, I just can't. I can manage a few lines, but then thoughts about how she'd bullied me would just flood right back in, and I just get a writer's block. See, at the time, I was a sad, soft mess. Someone like her was able to mold me like clay because she knew it. The thing I disliked most about her was how she did have a genuinely sweet side, a side I actually did kind of love. But at less than a moment's notice, and with just a few words, she could destroy my mood for the day. This is where I learned and gained the fawn response, which, if you're unaware of, is pretty much not wanting to say no to anything because you're scared of the person being upset or angry, lashing out at you because you wanted to do something different. So, yeah, she'd bully me, and she knew that I wouldn't say no to anything, so she would just keep doing this. Because, again, she was the kind of person that would tell you to something your life over the smallest of disagreements. Like, I mean, screaming at you. And once again, I find my memories of her, spotty. Because once again, my minds did the mental block thing. But I remember her more than enough. Ah, this is gonna sound more petty stuff here, but just bear with me. I remember we started installing Minecraft mods. Me, the good friend, and the bad friend. And yeah, basically what would happen is me and the good friend, we'd be mining away ourselves with our stone pickaxes. And then the pickaxes would just disappear from our inventories. Then diamond ones would just spawn in with crazy strong enchantments. See, the bad friend loads to playing admin mode, cheat mode, anything like that every single time. We'd be working away hard with the normal way, and she'd just give us the endgame equipment. And then she'd be angry that we're not thanking her for it. We want to play the game the normal way, she just wants to cheat and get the endgame equipment. Hmm. So, yeah, that's that kind of person. And I know it sounds horrible, but this is just coming from my heart. I'm not a hateful girl. Anyone that knows me knows what I'm like. The new escape. It was roughly around this time I was brought pretty low and realized I needed a new escape. And I started to make videos for myself. I started to install mods. This is, of course, the time when I found development. That's not quite important right now. At the time, I think I was about 23, 24. I started to make new videos, made a new channel, uploaded my first ever video, Skyrim 4 Development Khajiit. It got about 300 views in just one day, and my mind was blown. It was like if someone shot a flare into the night sky and lit it up. I was over the moon. My old channel, I was so used to making a video and getting maybe 20 views in a few weeks. But this was something else. I kept it up. I made another video, and another video, and another, and it made me happy. I got into a routine of recording, editing, and uploading, and it was great. I started making new friends. I started seeing numbers go up. And just as importantly, I started getting confident. I started joining Discord voice calls with pride and not fear. I had an interview for a job, the tech support job. I got it. I nailed it. It was stressful, but I was proud. It was IT, helping people with tech support issues, just like with modding issues. I was still lingering around with the old toxic friend. I never once told him about the divorce stuff, because one time fetishes were mentioned, and she said how she'd relentlessly mock anyone into that fetish, king shaming. From someone like her, it was bound to be hateful and not playful. Had my jobs, had the weekends, I'd make videos on the weekends. This continued on for a while, until one day, while chilling with the fun friend, because he was feeling a little low, we were chilling in Stardew Valley. She messaged me frustrated that I'm not playing with her in her usual heavy, extremely modded, broken Starbound of her own creation. She wouldn't listen to me for mod recommendations, and she was annoyed that something she was trying to do in admin mode wasn't working. Demanded I stop playing with the good friend that actually made me feel pretty good. Install about 6 gigabytes of Starbound mod collection and figure this out for her. And then I said my goodbye to her. After all the months, years even of her tormenting me, I had had enough. She clearly knew I was dancing less and less to her bullyish ways, and this was the final straw. She'd already fallen in with a new friend group, some political ball themed group, and was spending less effort trying to terrorize me because I was literally too busy enjoying work, making those videos I kept away from her. And although it feels hateful to be even smug about it, I did in fact try to integrate into this political ball group, and then I couldn't help but notice her doing her usual tricks, putting on the oh woe is me act, how nobody likes me act, trying to fish for some new person to torment. At one point I even joined a voice chat, and I remember distinctly she passively aggressively said to me in a very intimidating tone that if I was going to try and cause any fuss, she's going to ban me from the server. So, while playing Stardew Valley with that friend, I said my goodbye to her. Believe it or not, true to my own nature, I wasn't even insulting or rude about it, because my mind kept screaming at me about how much I loved the good in her, and how I didn't want it to end badly. And I didn't. I tearfully said my goodbye and wished her the best of luck, and then unfriended her on Discord, on Steam, on Facebook, DeviantArt, and even some Russian Facebook she dragged me onto one time. I think it's called VK. It was like pulling tree roots that had grown around my heart deeply. It was like pulling them out. Ah, yeah. For about 2 weeks straight, I was sad, lonely, even with a good friend. I woke up rough for a while. But like most things, time heals those kind of wounds. The mental scars left behind are important lessons I've learned. And whilst I can't roleplay and the fawn response is still very much alive and strong, I've learned to live with it. I still can't go being hateful to most people. It ends up actually upsetting me more if I do, unless there's a very good reason. Respect to me is still a two-way street, as some people say. So, if anyone knows me, I choose nice by default. A few times I've been told I'm insufferably nice, which I know is easy to say, but if you know me, you'll know what I'm like. And while I do still sometimes struggle with saying no, I've worked hard and oops, gotten around it. Having a friend like that be abusive to me, I'm in no way, shape, or form ever gonna let that happen ever again. Even if I have to go as far as to ghost someone to be rid of them, I will. And sometimes I do actually happen across her. The first time, I almost, foolishly, nearly interacted with her. It was like taking a breath, reaching out, reaching a friendly hand out, ready to speak. And then the breath got caught in my mouth. I realized, no, look at her profile. She's still the same old bitter bully. Despite all the time that's passed, she's still the exact same. And I'm sitting here, bully free, happy, confident, under the Forgetful Hatter name. Ah, well, that went on far longer than I was expecting. Sorry about that. I like to try and make things nice and quick, but yeah, that's a bit of my backstory. So, yeah, look, we all have our ups and downs. I find experiencing them is rubbish, but when you get through them, you learn tricks, you learn things that can help you to get through it next time. Hmm. For me, it's all the family and friends I've met over the years. My experiences have taught me how to deal with this stuff just a little bit easier. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here like this. If you want to ask questions in the comments, go for it. But yeah, thanks very much for listening to this mad girl's rants. It's always the ones with black hair, huh? Nah, that's terrible. That's terrible. Thanks, yeah. I'm gonna hop off here now, because I need to find my way out of this back rooms. Some people always say it's supposed to be scary, but honestly, I like this place. I feel isolated. There was a really good video that a person basically made saying how good the backrooms is for when you want to feel like you just want to disappear. And yeah, I'll link that too as well, because that's a interesting read. View, listen. So yeah, I know I've said it a bunch of times, I'm terrible at doing outros, but thanks very much for being a friend, watcher, enjoyer of all the usual stuff. I do intend to continue making videos, of course. I don't think I'll stop, unless extenuating circumstances happen, but I don't see that. Worst case scenario, we'll continue with the Patreon. So yeah, this has gone on long enough. I'm Forgetful Hatter, thanks very much for watching. Bye now. And see, I got the button right here to end it. 3, 2, 1. Bye.